All right, Carson, let's get right into it.
Fixing me hat. Episode 37.
Let's rock. Let's get it. So quick episode last week.
Yeah, it was.
For 36 as a little call to action. I obviously loved it, but it was also my idea. But I think it was necessary. I am very excited to do this topic episode because it's one I've had on my list for a while. And it wasn't necessarily a timing thing. It was more of one, I just wanted to make sure that I was fully prepared.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think...
It's a heavy spot.
It is heavy. I don't want it to be because, like I said last episode, I really want people to be more willing and open to talk about.
We'll make it lighthearted. You know, I
yeah. Oh, yeah. And well, so that's actually a good point to make is that this is a topic episode and I want to go through a lot of information. But just like you said, dude, like I don't want it to be uptight and emotional. I know we got very serious in the last episode, but that was just the situation that was handed to us that previous week. So now we can kind of approach this with a lighter conversation, just bringing up the facts, bringing up the details, giving people an actual action item to do. And I'm really excited about this. I even said it before we started recording. I'm very excited because I think this episode, if people truly listen and do the action items, can change your life.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Last week, or the last episode, I was thinking about it on the way over here. People might listen to this podcast as like an escape from social media to just hear two guys shoot the shit. And last episode was a little bit more on the serious side, but because we wanted it to be, because there's some heavy stuff. But let's get back to the escape for some people. While giving them some great information.
While giving value.
Yeah.
Because great feedback from the weight loss episode. And
I'm losing weight right now, sweating in this sauna.
That's what I did on purpose.
Don't.
I know, but I want the video for this episode.
Okay. Can we pause? Or actually, let me talk them through some stuff.
You got stuff to talk through?
Nothing.
All right, then pause. Time out.
Okay. We're back.
All right, play.
Pause, play.
The camera's probably going to go off again. It's that hot in here.
Yeah.
So we're just going to see how far it goes.
That's all right.
Then we'll keep it going. All right, let's get into it. So, breakdown of how this episode is going to work, Carson. I want to go through just the kind of defining mental health because it's such a uptight and people hesitate using the word, but I want to kind of approach it differently.
I'll let you do whatever you want.
I'm going to go through some just basic understandings of the brain so people kind of know. It's actually pretty interesting stuff. And then that problem solution section I want to go into in terms of bringing in like the actual like day-to-day stuff that we can do. All the solutions that we were talking about last episode, that'll be the problem solution section of it. So I kind of want to put you on the spot. Can I put you on the spot?
Why not?
All right, let's do it. It's going to be tough to answer on the spot, but...
Well, I'll be the judge of that.
You hear this word mental health.
Mm-hmm.
What is your perception of it in terms of, like, how you think of it? Is it... When I say it's uptight and people are hesitant to talk about it, is that the kind of view you have on it? Or is that just because again, dude, it's tough because I have such a different viewpoint coming from the wellness space.
No, I think about it as mental health is something everyone carries, like a burden everyone carries in a way.
There she goes. Yeah, see, it's overheated. Allow it to cool.
Too hot.
Well, it's all right. We're going to keep it running.
That's just a testament to what we are as athletes going through here on the pod.
Right.
The camera can't even hang.
But we can.
It's because we're bringing the heat.
We can. Wow. We might have to end it right there.
No, I think it's back to your question. I think it's a burden that everyone carries. Some carry it's heavier than others. Some deal with it in other ways than others do. Some have a better relationship with it than others. Everyone deals with it in some sort of way. It's not necessarily a negative.
At all.
it comes across as a negative. It's just and the way I said burden makes it a negative, but it's just an aspect of everyone's life that maybe I should phrase it this way. It's a burden for some people and it's not a burden for others. And some people deal with it a certain way, some people don't, and that everyone has their own relationship with it. So I do have a negative connotation of it, but I should change my mindset. But that's just me being honest. Because that's what I'm here.
You know what's so cool about what you just said? My definition of mental health, you mentioned it, but I don't even know if you knew you mentioned it. The way I view mental health is the relationship you have with yourself.
That's a fair way to put it.
I think that's what it comes down to.
We think a lot alike.
What happened earlier today?
We both said topic at the same time.
Yeah, we did. We were texting what the topic was. So, dude, that's what I have written down here. I define mental health as the relationship that we have with ourselves. Because if you think about it, again, it's all in our heads. It's all mental. It's all the way that we perceive the world, react to the world, react to ourselves, perceive ourselves, and how we treat ourselves mentally, but physically. And you said that. You said everyone has a different relationship with it, and that's exactly why.
You know, it's a little confusing.
Talk to me.
And this just popped in my head, so it's not a full-blown thought like most of my shit that I say isn't. But, like you say, it's all mental, it's all in your head, but there's things that also factor into it that contribute to that relationship. So it's not just mental, but it is. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, you're going to talk about, one of the big ones is definitely going to be diet or food that you take in. So that's not mental, but it contributes to your mental.
Good point.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. So that's, so I guess, so there is a physical side of mental health and a mental health.
There's
mental
like
side.
enhancers and I don't know, whatever the opposite is. You're
what
smarter
is the
than me.
opposite of enhancer?
Dehancer.
Dehancing. Can we go with dehancing? It's not a word. But
Yeah, it's definitely not.
So, no, 100%. But I also think that brings in a big point. What you were saying was, dude, if you really take a step back and think about the mental side of mental health, not the physical, not the nutrition, all that. Could it really just come down to how we perceive and take in information, whatever that information is? Because that could just be the experience of life that you live. Because then that goes through this cascade of your afterthought on that situation or that experience. And for a lot of people, again, people that have a good relationship with themselves, it's going to be a good reaction. People that have a bad one, it's going to be a negative reaction. Even if it's the same experience. Could be the same exact experience. Something traumatic, like we were saying last episode. Absolutely traumatic. One person has such a negative reaction to it, while someone else can see a positive outlook on it and say, okay, this is such a traumatic event, but this has made me that much better.
Yeah, and I don't know.
And that just real quick, that just kind of sums why I'm such a believer that mental health is just the relationship we have with ourselves and how we perceive and take in information and experiences.
Yeah, it's well said.
So, dude, I'm not going to sit here and go through the stats. I think we're well aware of the current state of mental health. And what I'll say is it is significantly declining year after year. What I really want to mention is how we're treating mental health. Because, again, I am not just saying this as I think it's wrong. It's not wrong at all. It's definitely a solution with prescription medication and outpatient care. But there has to be another way, because with all of that, and that's only increasing, our problem is still increasing as well.
Right.
So just looking at data where both of the top way that we treat it, but also the actual prevalence of mental health, both are increasing. So it just feels like it makes so much sense why I want to bring up all these pointers, because it might be another way for a lot of people. And that's not to say that I'm such a big supporter of therapy and other ways that you can treat it. But the biggest thing here when it comes to mental health is prevention. And that goes with any disease and condition. We've mentioned it so many different times when we talk about heart disease, cancer, all dementia, you name it. So focusing on prevention with treatment as the added bonus, but not treating without prevention is key.
Yeah. You know what's hard for me personally, sitting in this seat next to you is...
Is it that we're both sweating profusely?
Yeah, aside from that, is you come at it from a science standpoint, and you know what you're talking about, and you've done the research, and what you're, for the most part, what's going to come out of your mouth is facts, followed by data. You're not going to say the data, but, and maybe in some cases you are, but data that backs up the points that you're making. It's tough for me to say certain things on mental health. I can just, whatever I say is from my own experience. I've never walked in anyone else's shoes, so I don't know what everyone else is going through, and I don't have the background that you have scientifically to speak to things as they're facts. So anything that comes out of my mouth is what has worked for me. I just want to put that out there.
Two things on that I want to combat you on too. I totally agree. Absolutely. Yes, experiences. For me personally, it's yes, the science and the data followed by experiences.
Gotcha. You know what I'm saying though.
Yeah, 100%.
I just want to let everyone know I'm not telling you what I'm saying is right. It's just what's worked for me.
I do want to touch on that, but I say that because I don't just read stuff I see from Huberman or Peter Attia or on the internet. All of the stuff that I'm going to go through, I personally do, and I've had a personal positive experience mentally doing these things. So it's again, like, I mean, you know, dude, our core value at Mano is lead by example, and yeah. I take that very, very seriously. So, yes, I just want to emphasize this, that yes, I'm bringing the data and the science behind it, but it's all because I also have experience from it. So, and I always do, this is for every episode that we have, I want to show people what I do because I know it's extreme and I know it's very different from the norm, but I want to show people what I do because it might motivate them to just do a little bit more than they're doing, to get a little bit closer to me. And it's all for the sole reason that, dude, I wish I could just hand everyone the benefits that I have gotten from the health changes that I've made in my life through the data that I've studied and researched, because it has changed my life. And mental health is one of the biggest ones, and we're going to go through all that. But I totally agree. But I want you to bring up those experiences because you are also abnormal as well. As much as you don't want to say you're humble, you are not amongst the average when it comes to your health. You eat very clean. You work out way more than the average person. You think about your mental health. Right. You think about your personal development. No, I'm saying this because you so easily downplay your value, but the biggest value you have is that experience coming from someone who doesn't know the data. You can relate to them. And I want you to kind of give your experience, and we can do this right now. I want you to give your experience because, correct me if I'm wrong, but you didn't start with the nutrition and the fitness and the sleep and the personal development to enhance your cognitive function.
I did not.
Or enhance your mental health.
No.
You actually did it for originally the physique, the body, but then you kind of develop more and more. But I can only assume you've gotten so many mental benefits from that. That's what I want you to lay out there.
Yeah. You want me to give you a little bit of a background on my...
Please.
So, I mean, we grew up as athletes. Like, I'm not saying we were anything special, but we
We did our thing or two on the field.
Yeah. So part of that was being in the weight room, lifting, trying to be healthy. At that point in high school, like I air quote that you can't see healthy because we ate anything under the sun.
Can we just touch on this real quick?
2 cookies a day, me and Anthony, every day at lunch.
3.
At least 2. And the soft ones, oof.
They were always soft.
Renee. So we went to high school together. We had a thing that we would eat lunch and then we'd hop back in line and get 2 cookies. Possibly 3.
I think it was 3 on a good day.
Definitely was 3 on a good day.
Maybe not every day, but it was automatic. No discussion. Eyes connected, cookies.
But so this just goes into the background a little bit, right? Like we always had practices. We were in the weight room. I was never a big proponent of like working out, so to say. I loved playing sports. And then fast forward to college at Temple with rugby, they mandatory. We only had set practices. They had mandatory lifts. I got in trouble every practice because I never hit the mandatory lifts. Like, I just didn't do the lifts, and my captain hated me. Shout out Maddie English. And I had to do the punishment at the end of practice every time because I never did the lifts. So then it was where you hold a rucking pad, and you had to go all the way around the field.
Yep. We just did
on
up
all
and back.
fours.
Yeah.
Okay, so then fast forward to college is over. I'm not really working out. I'm doing like 2 a day a week, if that. And my boy Albert used to work in an office next to me. I walk by him and he goes, and this is the relationship we had. He goes, "You're 22 years old, man. It's the best time of your life. You're in the prime of your life. How long are we gonna fucking walk around looking like that?" Like I was not going to the gym. I was like not fat. I was like skinny, like just like out of shape. Like,
that's a friend.
Yeah, I was like, but he was doing it as like a dude. He got me going to the gym. He was like, "Come." So he said, "How long are you gonna look like? Like you gonna walk around looking like that? You ever gonna do something about it?" And like. He was saying it as a joke. He was like, but then he was like, "Just come to the gym with me next week." Dude, I started going to the gym. You start seeing a little bit of progress. You go through the waves that we've all talked about. You get into it, you get out of it. And at first, it was all for look.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I won't lie to you, I've talked about it on here before. Like, me and him have talked about, one-on-one, about how crazy it is when you're lifting or working out and you're chasing goals and you're doing it at a exercise level, your mental is so clear. Mm-hmm. And he always goes to the gym, but we've both gone through stages where we're like into it more times than others, and the clarity that you have mentally that follows when you're in it is absurd. It's absurd.
Off that, talk about, because I personally,
I remember to this day. Dude, you're 22 years old. You're going to fucking walk around looking
That's
like
so
that for
great.
the rest of your life?
But talk about the difference when the positive mental health stuff that you were getting when you were working out, but then when you would fall off. Because personally, just being the exercise, like I never truly fell off because I have a different view. But yeah, did you feel an impact?
No. Yes and no. It's so hard to track, but you just know.
Yeah.
So here's what I mean by that. I've at points where you fall off or you're not as into it and consistent, not every time, but at a certain point, I got a little anxious and was going through it a little bit. Nothing crazy by any means, and not to downplay what was going on. There's a lot of other people dealing with a lot heavier stuff, but it was big for me at the time. Mm-hmm. And whatever, I was just carrying about. It is what it is. Like every guy I was going through it. It is what it is. And then a couple months later, like me and him just started going to the gym again, and you start getting consistent again, and then you're chasing some goals, and then all of a sudden you think back and you were like, holy shit, I haven't thought about stuff that was causing me issues in so long.
Wow.
Like that's really what it is. You're 2 months in, you're like, bro, I'm good. How the fuck did that just happen?
No, yeah.
How the
Wow,
fuck?
yeah.
How the fuck that just happened? And then you think back. You're like, what changed? I just started going to the gym again and working out. I was just
Wow.
active.
I've actually never thought of it that way, where it's just kind of not a thought.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, so
I used to think, for personal experience, I'm not gonna say like specific things. There are certain things you would think about every day, and then all of a sudden you're like, bro, I haven't even.
yeah,
That's kind of wild.
which just kind of shows that we're using fitness as the example, but it's one of the big three. You probably saw too that not only was your mental health better, but like your personal development in general,
Everything.
your career, like everything just went up together.
All of a sudden you're chasing physical goals, whether it's you want to look better or you want to get rid of some sort of fat. I'm not saying but you're chasing those goals, and then it's like, oh, you're driven.
It's constant, yeah.
You're seeing exercise bonuses happen for yourself, but it carries into so many other things that you don't realize until you take a step back and you're like, holy shit. Those are all correlated. Like,
Yeah.
because I'm consistent in running and I'm dialed in running, being dialed in running led me to being dialed at work because I needed to be dialed in order to get to my run.
Yes, dude.
And then you're like, you only see that when you actually take a step back and look into the details. But because I prioritized this, it means I had to prioritize all these other things to be able to get to that.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because you look at the amount of time, I'll use myself as an example, the amount of time I spend on my personal health, especially now, but right now my training for this is a different situation. But what's interesting is you would think that the more time I spend and invest on my health, I'm taking that time away from my career and work. Dude,
you're prioritizing the other one more.
I'm more productive.
Yeah.
I'm more efficient. But the sad part, going off your experience that I want you to touch on too, is that what I see from the people that my old clients that I was working with is that once a situation, a traumatic event happens and the mental health starts going, what's the first thing that goes?
Say that. Repeat that again.
So once something happens in someone's life that's very stressful and it causes their mental health to drop, no matter all the things that they may be doing for themselves, the first thing that people let go of in a situation like that is all the stuff that made them better. The fitness, the nutrition, all the stuff that we're going to go through.
Yeah.
And I think that's the toughest part, is that those dips, those off times are so low because you have this huge uptick in mental health, a traumatic event, and stress, in conjunction with a let off of everything that got you to such a better state. So that's what's really sad. I don't know if you have experience in that, like if there was any situations that were really tough and you just kind of fell off of everything else.
No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
No, not
Good.
none that I can recall
Good.
specifically. But what I have been thinking about lately, and this might bring us off topic, is I think you can train your mental health.
So happy you said that, dude. It's a skill. It's a skill. And the reason it'll make more sense when we get into this. But
or maybe it's mindset. Mindset and mental health kind of go the same.
yeah,
hand in hand.
they're I would say they're hand in hand. But that's the biggest thing, dude, and this is all aspects of health, dude. They're all skills we have to develop, but people don't view them that way. They view them as a fix or not.
Yeah.
And dude, unfortunately, that's why medications are the first solution, because it's quick. You don't have to develop a skill. Think about it when it comes to nutrition. It's a skill because you have to learn what foods to eat. You have to learn about protein, about carbohydrates, about dietary fats. You have to learn about quality of food, right? Those are all skills that you have to develop that takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Mental health, the relationship that you have with yourself is a skill. Just like, real quick,
Yeah.
just like the relationship you have with your significant other, whether it's your wife or your husband, you spend years with that person with bad experiences and so many good experiences because you're developing the skill with that person to know them very well, to know each other, something that takes so much time. And the reason I really want to emphasize on viewing mental health as a relationship, because so many people are in relationships, and I would argue it is the most important relationship that you can have in this world is the one with yourself. Because what else is there other than, I mean, we talk to ourselves from the time that we talk to ourselves in our sleep 24 hours a day. Actually, we never stop talking to ourselves. We dream. Why wouldn't you develop a skill when you are your entire life with that, I'll say person, but yourself? Absolutely a skill.
Yeah, you're making me think about things that I could do better.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, all right. So before we go into the problem solution that's going to help people, I want to talk about kind of like, there's so many ways because the brain is so unknown, but I want to try to simplify a way that and really emphasize the point why I really just think it's the relationship we have with ourselves, the view that we have, the perception on our mental health. And this is why, because essentially what mental health comes down to is we have a real world experience, right? Positive or negative. We perceive that. When we perceive that, signals are sent to our brain. Our brain goes through this process of processing it. And then after that point, there's a reaction, right? And that reaction is going to shape mood, energy, physical, mental health, all of that. But the reason I say that is because we all go through this, right? And something that is very key that we can think about and change to change that reaction is how that signal is sent to our brain, right? So there's 3 key players in this, and we've all heard of them: serotonin, dopamine, and cortisol, right? Quick overview: serotonin is our happy hormone. So that's the one that regulates mood, emotion, and it's key with sleep. Dopamine is our pleasure hormone. So that is reward, motivation, drive. Dopamine and serotonin are not the same.
I would put them in the same bucket, but I like how you're splitting these.
They're not the same. Yeah. Serotonin is that happy hormone. Dopamine is more of that reward and motivation and drive. Because dopamine can be very negative, right? Cigarettes.
Yeah, we talked about
any kind of drug. Yeah. And then cortisol is our stress hormone, but not negative. It can be negative or positive. And that's just, cortisol is how we respond to it. So what's crazy about this is that you take those 3 chemical messengers, when it comes to how you are going to react after that message is sent to the brain, simply is how we react to those messages. Right? And I mentioned a positive and negative way that we can react to all of them. It's our reaction that makes the difference. It's why everyone is so different when it comes to their mental health. All right, so let me use cortisol as an example, right? It's a stress hormone. A life experience happens and it might make you a little bit anxious or stressed, right? Okay, what's your reaction to that? So going back to episode 36 when we brought up the traumatic event, some people can have a very negative reaction, get angry, get outraged, aka all the stuff you're seeing on social media. Another person can look at that and be like, wow, this is a situation that I really need to take a step back on and realize that life is short. And see what I'm saying? They react to it differently because they have a whole new approach. Now it affects them positively, and they're going to make changes in their life that are going to lead them to personal development. And this goes for everyone, everyone is going to lose someone they love, right? And this is an easy example. And there's those two reactions come into that. Whether that's a negative one and you just completely shut down and your mental health shuts down, or it's a positive one and you look at all the things that this person brought value to you, and you want to live their life forward by changing your life and making positive changes. All that being said is, dude, it really just comes down to how we react to it. And I think if people can take this understanding where it goes from, we all have real world experiences, we all have a chemical messenger that goes to our brain, and we all have a reaction. If we can just control that formula, dude, look, it's not easy, but it's straightforward.
How do we control that formula?
Did I explain that in a good way? Does that make sense? Because again, this is where the science is tough to.
Yeah, I think you did a good job.
All right, cool. Let's go into the problem solution section.
Why not?
Cool. So let's start with the big three. For each of these, I have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Wow, maybe 11. 10 things that I'm going to bring up the problem, why it's negatively impacting our mental health, and then the solution, what we can do. But I feel like most people kind of know the solution. It's just about doing. So we'll start with nutrition. There's so many things. I'm going to try to keep these brief, but especially with the big three, there's so many things that I can bring up that how nutrition is impacting our mental health. The main problem is just the foods, literally the foods that we are consuming. The excess sugar, because quite simply, that's going to cause inflammation in our brain, cause inflammation in our gut. The processed foods, we're putting chemicals and toxins into our body that our gut microbiome, which is the family of bacteria, doesn't know what to do with. And then also bring in the types of food that, not the quality is obviously is something I just mentioned, but the types in terms of the macronutrients, right? We're very low protein, high fats, high carbs, low activity, right? So all of these things, it's kind of very clear of why it's impacting, but the reason why it's impacting our mental health is more so from the inflammation side of things, right? When your body's in an inflamed state, it cannot regulate. It cannot control itself. And that's really key with sugar. And the solution is, we know the solution. It's the opposite of that.
Yeah. I'm just coming to this realization now, and this is a little off topic, but I used to think for me the calories in versus calories out was a priority. Try and get the proteins and everything while staying at my calorie expenditure. Dude, now like I'm thinking eat as clean food as possible and worry about the calories second. Like I think for the way that I eat food, it may be hard for me to, even if I overeat a little bit, if it's clean food, better that than non-clean food and meeting the calories.
Bro, how many times when you were just focusing on calories, and which, by the way, makes sense because in the beginning you were just focused on physique and now it's different. But how many times when you had a burger, fries, pizza, whatever it is, like it's very clear. There's a reason you feel so lethargic and your mood is down and you're tired and your brain is not functioning. You can just see it very clearly.
I don't think people correlate it that way.
Because people, it's tough to think about.
Or they don't want to.
Maybe, but it's also hard to think that the food that is going into our body is going to affect our brain.
That's why it's good we're talking about it. It is.
It is. And you can, again, just use those examples of how do you feel after you have a whole pizza.
Yeah, start tracking it in your brain.
And how do you feel after you have a healthy meal? Yeah, I love that. Good connection. Movement and exercise. This, when it comes to mental health, I think this is the only situation where I would put movement and exercise above nutrition. I don't want to rank them because they're both that important. But exercise on our brain, dude, is probably the
A little healthy
single
stress.
best solution to mental health. And I want to bring back, I want to say movement and exercise. It's just preventing a sedentary lifestyle of not moving, of sitting, of staying inside, which we're going to get to. Because, bro, we literally have a hormone when we exercise that is released that makes us happier. They're called endorphins. You do a bout of activity, and that's why after that workout, if it's not too strenuous, you are so proud of yourself and you feel so good.
Happens pretty quick too.
Bro, it is
Quick feedback loop.
literally a hormone that is released when we do activity. And that's why if we have an opportunity in a split of a decision to feel happier,
Yeah.
bro, if that was put in a drug, like people would be popping that every single day. Well, it's out there. It's free. And when we are sedentary, anxiety,
Right.
stress, weight gain, and that causes, you want to add like the weight gain and stuff like that. Talk about the stress that's added from that, because you're not happy with where you are.
Yeah.
But then you also have to start.
It's a slope.
It's a very slippery slope. Solution. Opposite. Just move your body. Move your damn body. And it doesn't have to be crazy.
No.
Start with walks. Then you'll start feeling the positive effects. You'll feel the endorphins. And then that's going to cascade and domino into you doing more and more.
Yeah.
Number 3.
I agree.
Sleep.
Yeah.
Do I even need to go in? Like,
I don't think you do, but ask Lauren. I have prioritized sleep so much, almost to the point of it's annoying her, but she understands why. And this has been a big thing for me this year, was focusing on sleep.
me too.
And like setting a time that is a non-negotiable I'll be in bed by during the week, and letting myself get an extra. It's hard because I'm trying to stay on this circadian rhythm, but also I think I need to get to bed an hour earlier during the week, so I let myself get an extra hour on the weekends to catch up. So it kind of skews my rhythm a little bit. But ask Lauren; she'll tell you. I this has been a big thing for me this year.
And how much of a game changer.
It's big time,
right? That goes into what we were saying before about investing that extra time. We were talking about it with exercise, but the biggest reason that people say they don't get enough sleep is because they don't have time. But again, that's where I would make the argument that, one, yes, you have time, but two, if you made the time, 2 extra hours of
game
sleep,
changer.
your productivity, you will get done what you need to get done in the day.
It's a game changer.
And it's also a sacrifice and investment that is one of the best you can make.
I would agree 100%.
Number 4.
Haven't gotten to this part yet because I can see that font.
Yeah. So we just went
in
through
the mornings.
We went through the big 3. Now we're gonna go through some things that people might not be thinking about, but this is why I'm so happy you brought up the personal experiences and that I could get into that, because these are things that, yes, are backed by science, but that I've personally done, and I am such a believer in these.
So, I can see what you're about to say. Go ahead, say what it is.
Number 4 is, and these are in no particular order, by the way, other than the big 3, light exposure.
Specifically in the morning, right?
Yep.
I haven't gotten to the point yet, which will probably be my next step. You know how it's so weird? You start inching towards the final result. You do one thing that is good. You start to incorporate that habit. Then when you're like, all right, I got this habit down, you add another positive habit.
Yep.
And you start compounding them on themselves. So
Domino effect.
I prioritize sleep. Me prioritizing sleep, I haven't got to the morning light exposure yet. And I know what the next step is. It's move up my sleep so that I can then have the light exposure in the morning. But it's so weird to call it a bedtime, but like the time that I have to go to bed is late. I know my next step. I know I'm going to have to move it up so I can wake up and get the light exposure.
Yeah.
But I'm just not there yet.
So
I have to hammer down the sleep.
It's absolutely in the morning. That's ideal. But Dude, it's more overall throughout the day. Because I want people to think about their day to day and truly add up how much time they think they get outside.
I can tell you what I've gotten. I gotten 5 minutes to the car, from my house to the car, to the car, into work. So that's a minute combined. Walked to go get lunch across the street. Walked back. That's 2 minutes. And then the drive here.
Bro, it's
5 minutes, literally.
we went from a species of being 95% outside to being 95% inside. It's very clear the impact it's having on us. But so you don't like we were the morning thing is more about the circadian rhythm like you were talking
that's
about.
what it was for.
But dude, it's very clear like if you work in an office and say for your lunch hour you go outside and just maybe take a breather, take a call or go for a walk. Dude,
It's a game
it's
changer.
like better than a cup of coffee in
Yeah.
terms of energy and mood.
It really is.
Right?
Yeah.
But so it's just very clear that being outside is so good for our mental health. And again, the data backs this up. But it's one of those things that people kind of just push off because kind of like nutrition, it doesn't make sense in their head.
Right.
Right? Like how could the sun improve our mental health?
It's not
but-
the easiest connection to
Right.
make.
But it is, and I want people to think about when they're trying to make these connections for everything else that we go through. I want them to think about the moments that they do this thing, and think about how that makes them feel.
Yeah.
Because then it becomes very clear.
Well said.
So light exposure, yes, in the morning, but throughout the day. I love combining a lot of these problem solution stuff. But another way to do this is doing your exercise outside, which is why I love running. And I never run on the treadmill because of that. Literally, the reason I don't run on the treadmill is one, I do hate it, but it's because it's a missed opportunity to get outside.
I've actually heard you say that to me before.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's go. All right, next up, relationships. Whoa, coming all full circle. So we already touched on...
I was wondering why you were saying whoa.
Yeah.
And then you're like, coming full circle.
We already touched on how I'm so honed in on the relationship with yourself as the most important thing for mental health, but it's all relationships. And that's because when you don't have a relationship, you're lonely, isolated, right? And when you're lonely and isolated, you don't have any passion, motivation, drive. So of course you're going to be anxious and depressed. When you have a relationship, we are social beings. The way humans evolved was by working together. And obviously at that time it was all in person. There was no virtual connection.
Right.
So I'm talking about in-person positive relationships with your loved ones, with random people. And this also comes back to what we were saying before, and I made a LinkedIn post about it, about how much giving is better than receiving, and that's just a relationship. It's because you're giving to someone, and the reason it feels so good is because you're so happy, and it makes you so proud that you just made someone else's day so much better. Anything on relationships?
No.
Hey, you help my mental health.
Me too. Me too.
We're fist bumping, but they can't even see it.
No, I think we've done a great job of explaining the relationship with yourself and how to prioritize that as the number one.
The next one you were touching on before.
This one's has been a big one for me lately.
And that's why I want you to go through it.
No,
Personal growth.
yeah, it's personal growth. I think this stems from what I was saying before about how all of a sudden you're working out and you're seeing growth there, and you want to see growth in other areas too. When you start chasing goals and you have things that you're just every day you wake up and you're like, that's the next step. Like, all right, how do I get there? And you're trying to check boxes every day because you know it's leading to that end game, and
Delayed gratification.
and you're creating habits that'll creating. This is the most important part. Creating good habits along the way that put you in a position to meet that goal, so that when you get there, the habits you instilled are still there. To then maybe get you to reach the next goal.
Yeah.
But the I was just talking about it with someone today. The aspect of chasing something makes every other problem go to the side.
Well, it solves the main problem with stagnation. And that's lack of purpose. Because you're literally giving yourself a purpose by having things to push for.
Yeah.
Personal growth is a big one for me, dude, because look, I'm very proud of where I am at today, 26 years old. But when and I've been reflecting a lot lately in terms of what areas in my life I've done really good and where I've done okay. And when it comes to business with Mano Wellness, I'm over 4 years now doing this. I am nowhere near a successful entrepreneur and business person. Nowhere near. And I'll be the first to say it. I'm on my way for sure. It's a long road. But I'm nowhere near it. And the reason I say that is because we're just starting our careers. You hear it so many times. I think who coined this? I watching oh man, he's so big on social media. I can't even think about it. Regardless, talks about how your career really doesn't start until you're 30 and 40. Everyone's figuring it out in their 20s. So when I heard that, I took it upon myself and said, okay, I'm going to try to make as much business success as I can. But if I can just grow personally in my 20s so that when my 30s come and I'm already so disciplined and I'm already so I have the skill of going out of my comfort zone. I have the skill of keep going. I have the skill of delayed gratification. If I can develop all of that in my 20s, and my way of doing that is, yes, entrepreneurship. I think that's a great way of doing it. But it's also the physical feats that I do. And this is going back to the skill thing you said. I'm developing skills in a time where that is going to pay off so much in 5, 10, 20 years. But also, it's giving me so much purpose right now because, yes, business and entrepreneurship gives me purpose, but it's also a big stress because it's very hard. Very hard. And every entrepreneur says that. So I found an avenue that gives me purpose, but also gives me so many life skills that I can take into business. And that has been one of the best things for my mental health because I can genuinely say, even to this point where I've not done anything business-wise, I'm so happy with the success I've gained so far. And that's just from the physical feats I've done and the personal growth I've made.
Love that. Look behind the curtain.
Next, this goes into the relationships, but community engagement. So I'll briefly just mention this.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Again, it's all about isolating yourself and preventing being by yourself. So yes,
I get
you want to have. The reason it's slightly different from relationships is relationships are very close and connected relationships that you have with someone.
Right.
This is more of a community, how you are involved in the world and making a change in the world. Again, this still goes to the same concepts of purpose and stress management, but again, it could also be giving. Like, dude, how many times have you done anything for outreach, whether you're giving for the homeless or you're doing a fundraiser? Man, you just feel so damn good.
Yeah.
So good. So community engagement would be the
I like that
brief one.
I need to get better at that.
We got three more.
Because I at LaSalle they were huge on it, and you're right. It's the feelings you get, the mental health aspects, the feelings you get from it are second to none, and then I feel like a lot of people kind of drift away from it, and then we come back, and I need to get back.
We will, because we're going to do a lot with Mano And I have so many good ideas, and we do a lot of fundraising already, but I'm very proud of the fundraising we do and the amount of money we make and give for foundations, but there's more to it that I want to do in terms of not just giving money, but actually doing something, changing a kid's life, giving them a career, something like that, where it's more impactful, not just monetary, and that's just so exciting.
And we can skip one on your list, your next one, and hop from there, because this one, you're gonna say spirituality, I feel like has followed the same path for me personally, and maybe it's just making myself feel better, but I feel like a lot of people our age do the same path I did. You're dialed into spirituality when you're a kid in Catholic school, and then you go to a private school, and you're in it every day, and you feel great while you're in it, and then not all of us, but I have, and I feel like others have. You kind of drift away, and then you see people come back, and I need to start getting back because I know the same, just like community. There are benefits there, and you felt them at the time, so it's almost like, well, why did I drift away from that?
Yeah, well,
I don't have the answer for you.
I'll combine these next two, is spirituality and mindfulness, because one, spirituality, religion, I know, again, people are kind of going to tighten up when they hear these words.
Yeah.
But this goes back to actually relationships as well. And a lot of what I hear when people talk about spirituality and religion, it's more so they're creating another relationship, but one that's never ending. So just like the relationship you have with yourself, they create a relationship with a higher power, whatever that is that you believe in, and because it's never ending and it's always a work in progress, that is the purpose.
Right.
So it's a lifelong purpose as well. And the same thing with mindfulness. Mindfulness is just, again, we've coined the term to it now, but it's what everyone used to do when you are bored or you have no distraction. You're mindful.
Yeah.
You're within yourself, and that's why I use exercise as well.
Sucks, dude.
As my way to be mindful.
No one's mindful as much anymore.
No one. There's too many distractions.
No one. We keep saying broad things. People are, but less more than
Majority.
there was 10 years ago.
We can say majority.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it too.
Me too.
And my solution was, again, exercise. I've clumped so many of these into exercise because I'm getting outside. I'm doing movement. I don't listen to I don't have my phone or headphones and any distractions. So I'm mindful the entire time.
I picked up one of your habits.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's that?
Over the past month.
No headphones?
No, I've been no
Dang.
headphones on workouts.
Oh yeah, you have been.
Yeah. No phone for the first 2 hours to start the day.
Dude, game changer.
Now, that's not to say I'm not at my laptop for doing work.
Yeah, right.
But no, so I guess you could say no social media, no texting, first 2 hours to start the day.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm not 2 hours. I am no social media for probably until past noon. But then first half hour absolutely not, because I'll do my morning routine. Probably the hour, then I'll go to texting on my computer. But yeah, dude, such a good habit.
Yeah, 9 a.m., baby. You don't catch me before 9 a.m. Unless I work with you, because you can Teams me. I can do whatever you need.
All right, last one that kind of goes into personal growth as well is hardships. And I'm a big believer in this, and not. It's a whole idea of, yes, doing hard things, but not in the way that people think about it. People think about it as like the Hardo, the Goggins, the what?
This is what I was saying when I said I think you can train your mental health, or you can train it, and I meant it in the fact when I was thinking about it, it was hardships. When you do hard things, those hard things at a certain point aren't hard anymore. And you end up training this layer in your brain to where something was stressful and tough and overwhelming at a certain point, and then you look back, and once you tackle that a couple times, it's no longer that anymore.
Here's how our listeners can really relate to this. think about work. Reflect on the hardest parts that you've experienced in your job. What was the aftermath of that? Probably growth. Because you put yourself in a situation that was so hard, a hard meeting, a hard presentation, but then you come out of it and maybe it didn't go so well, but majority of the time, you're going to look back and be like, wow, I didn't think I had that in me. I didn't think I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
But then, again, you callous it. You're callousing the brain. That's what, okay, going again with, I don't want people to perceive it as a Goggins thing, but he is right. You're callousing the brain.
Mm-hmm.
You're making your brain so much stronger, and this is bringing full circle the skill of it. Because I am a believer that it is very hard to grow without going through struggle. Very hard. It is very hard to find a relationship without having a bad one. It's very hard to run a marathon without doing long runs that are very hard. See what I mean? Like, it's all about putting yourself in a very uncomfortable situation, pushing through that, then looking back on, oh, I just did that. All right, well, maybe I can do this.
That's another thing. I think it's not on the list, but whatever word you contribute to, like, taking a step back and looking how far you've come every once in a while.
Reflection.
Yeah.
Mindfulness.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, wow, it's almost like you said it. But, like, if, say, related to work, right? You do a presentation or you're presenting. You'll stress out about that the first 10 times you do it. Maybe 20, maybe 50. Then on the 100th time, you'll start stressing about something else that's higher than that, because that you doing a presentation is no longer an issue anymore. That's cake. I've done that 100 times. Now you're stressing about higher level stuff. Now, when you get to that higher level stuff, take a step back and be like, can you believe a year ago, I wouldn't have even thought I would be stressing over this, but I've conquered all of these little steps that weren't little at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Take a step back and be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is good. It's a privilege to be stressing about stuff at this level, because I wouldn't have dreamed to be here.
It is. I love that you said it. It's a privilege. That's so awesome. And again, dude, like, take all of these things.
It's hard to do, though.
And what I'm speaking to is from my experiences, and that's all through fitness and then all the personal development stuff that I do. But, like, dude, it's very clear that, like, when people do a 5K, it's so hard, but then they do it, and then the next day when they're laying in bed and sore, they sign up for a 10K.
Yeah.
Because they think they could, maybe I could do it.
Yeah.
Then that goes all the way into a marathon.
Bro, and those people who are running marathons were stressing about the 5K at one point. A 5K is like a walk in the park. Yeah.
It's a cool down.
Yeah.
Right?
And you take a step back and you're like, dude, there was a point a year ago where I was stressing about 5Ks. I've come so far.
And that's why it's all relative. Everything is so relative, dude. Because, I mean, dude, think about Elon Musk is such a good example when we think about business. I think about this a lot. When I slip, and I try to prevent saying this, when I slip and I say, oh, I don't have time or whatever, then I think, wait, someone like Elon Musk has time? The hell am I saying?
Yeah.
So, but that's a good perception to have, because, again, like, just all relative. All
100%.
relative. So going back to kind of really sum this up, right? That's also why one of the biggest detriments to mental health is comparison, right? Because you're comparing to people that, going off the relative thing, they've had a different life experience. They've maybe gone through more struggles, or maybe have gone through less, right? When you have a relationship with yourself, you're not comparing to other people.
Right.
You're comparing to yourself.
You thinking about other people get you nowhere.
Nowhere. So, nutrition, movement, and exercise. I'm literally pointing at the camera like it's on. Nutrition, movement, exercise, sleep, light exposure, relationships, community engagement, personal growth, hardships, spirituality, mindfulness, a problem to each, a solution to each. Look, to end this, Carson, we are just getting our career in life started. We don't have as much life experience as a lot of people. But I hope that just the fact that we can be open about it, talk about it, bring light to it in such a tough topic, I hope it helps people.
Why am I listening to these 16-year-olds talk about
He said 18.
18?
And I said, I look like I'm 12. I am 12.
I am 12.
Anything to close, Cars?
No.
Other than?
Let's have a week.
Peace, fam.
See you guys.